Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast, featuring a Senators fan and a Leafs fan. We're here to talk about your two favorite teams, the rest of the NHL, local hockey, hockey all around the world, and to bring back memories from your favorite hockey teams and players. If you love the Leafs, Sens, B-Sens, NHL, or any other hockey, including the late Belleville Bulls, you are going to want to tune into our podcast. The gloves are off, the buckets are spinning, let's get the chirps flying. Welcome to the Boo Club!
All right, guys, welcome into episode 2 of season 2 of the Battle of Ontario Hockey Podcast. I'm Flem. He's Brooks, and it looks like still in his Pay It Forward Sports shirt. I don't think he's changed in 2 or 3 days here since Saturday. So for guys that didn't know, there was we had a big event Saturday. Do you want to jump into that here, Brokey, to start here?
Yeah, well, honestly, I just was like, oh, we got a podcast tonight. So what I did was I took this out of the laundry because it's getting washed and thought, hey, this will look good online tonight. But for anybody that doesn't know, it hasn't played in either of our golf tournaments. These are beautiful shirts. I've actually had a couple of people asking if they could buy them. That's a possibility, but we'll get into that. And so back to the weekend. We had our biggest tournament so far with Pay It Forward Sports. We had our Trillium Wood Caesars Palace Las Vegas Golf Championship, and it was awesome. We had a really, really good score. Minus 15 won it, which is actually what I predicted. I had a buddy ask me what I thought that day. I think it was it the night before or that morning, what the score was going to be. And I'm just like, you know what, with these conditions, minus 15. And that sounds high, but I think it could have been higher if it wasn't so wet. Yep. But no, the tournament was awesome. So for anybody who doesn't know, Boo Club Sports is connected to Pay It Forward Sports. They're all one thing, and we try to get kids in sports who can't afford it. That's what our goal is. And we run tournaments. So we ran a tournament this weekend, and the winning team, it was a really, really good tournament. The winning team, the 4 of them, won a trip to Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, stretch limo included while they're in Vegas, to and from the hotel and the airport. So congratulations to Ryan Cathcart. He actually works at the sister course, I guess you'd call it, Rondell Glen. He had an awesome team, and I know they shot really, really well down the stretch. I think they ended with like birdie, birdie, eagle, birdie, 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 or something like that. So I
was talking to Ryan. His back nine was they only didn't birdie 2 holes, and one was a par, and the other was an eagle. So there you go. I think they were minus 8 on the back. Yeah.
Minus 9 plenty. Gotta count, buddy. Anyways, so it was awesome. So congrats to them. So they were minus 15, and they won the trip to Caesars Palace. But then we also had some other awesome prizes. So Koski, am I saying that right? They were from
Kyle Koski. Yeah.
They're from Ottawa in that region, and I think somewhere over there. So we had some teams from out of town. We actually had another team from Sudbury, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Or at least one guy from there. So it was a pretty big tournament. There was 26 teams, but they won a bus trip to watch the Ottawa Senators take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in Ottawa, first level seats, really good seats, and bus included. So that was second place. And third place is what we call a Belleville package. It's Jack Cook's. Jack Cook's is one of our sponsors. They're awesome. If you like chicken wings, they're one of the best places to go in town, if not the best place. And they're right on Highway 2. Anyways, you get a Jack Cook's gift card for the team. Casino credit. Fleming loves that because he loves the casino. And, Belleville Senators tickets. Thanks to the Belleville Senators for partnering with us as well. We hope to have a long-lasting partnership with them, and they're just getting revved up. Maybe we'll get into them later, but that was first, second, and third was Team Crawford, so congratulations to them. We had a hole-in-one contest where if you get a hole-in-one on this hole, win a trip to Mexico. Unfortunately, nobody won, but somebody did go home with a $100 gift card to Live 4 Day Travel and a set of 3 luggage. So congratulations.
Did you see that? Off the top of my head. It was Kelly at Tabasco, but you see how close it was? He was within like 4 feet. Like he was tight. Yeah. He was real tight to it, man.
For one that's like just under 200 yards. And but I had a better shot, Fleming. I'll get into that later. I got to talk about it because it's probably one of the best shots I've ever had in my life. Anyways, so those are the ones. But then the last but not least, we did a Dominican Republic draw, Punta Cana, 5-star resort. Doesn't that sound amazing? I know, I want to go myself. But anyways, so everybody who entered got 2 free tickets. He'd do the draw, and then people could purchase tickets, to better their odds. And we had a lot of people purchase, and some of the proceeds go towards getting kids in sports. So that went really, really well. And I can't remember the guy's name. Do you remember it? You buffered it, or you Don Cherry did at the event.
David something, Verloff?
Something like that, yeah. And he works at, he did email me. He works at St. Lawrence Pools.
Yeah.
So you know what? We might have connected with somebody there, for some partnership in the future. So that's awesome. So anyways, the event was awesome. Everybody had a lot of fun. It took a little bit longer than we thought, but I know everybody was taking their time golfing. And you know what? It was raining at 11 o'clock in the morning. By 12:30, it was dry. We didn't get barely any rain, pretty much nothing all day. So we're happy about that. It went really, really well. And it was pretty warm too, considering it was October the 9th.
Yeah, and just want to say thanks to all the players first and foremost. We have, I think, 108 players. Thanks to Trillium Woods, that the course was in just amazing shape. The dinner was great. And thanks to all our staff, all our volunteers, and all our sponsors who helped out as well. We couldn't put these events on without tons of help from everyone in the community. So thanks to everyone who participated. Thanks to everyone who helped out. And at Trillium Woods, man, that course was in tip-top shapes, especially for a pretty hard rainfall Saturday morning. So Pay It Forward Sports couldn't be any happier. A great event for us. And glad to send Ryan and his three buddies down to Vegas. I think they want to go check out the Golden Knights. So they might change that trip so they can go see the Senators. Not Senators. The Canadians against the Golden Knights play the Thursday before we send them down. So they might be changing that trip to go see that game. But congratulations to Ryan and his team, and thanks to everyone for coming out. It was a great day, and look forward to some more big giveaways in 2022 from Pay It Forward Sports.
And not only that, we want to thank, I know you kind of mentioned it, but with this golf tournament, the golf tournament we had in August, we had probably close to 40 sponsors, eh?
Yeah.
I would say there was a few in there that were different, but we had probably, I'm going to say 30 to 35 different sponsors for those two golf tournaments. So we're really proud of that. We've been working hard, but not only that, people are willing to give back to the community. So thanks to everybody there. Not going to name the names. They will be on Facebook. We have pictures of all the signs, just like we did the last tournament. So thanks again. Awesome tournament. I know I'm excited for the next year of golf. I know we're going to have hockey and all that other stuff to talk about, but golf next year, we're going to have even bigger and even more golf events. And you don't have to win a trip to Vegas. We'll tell you about that later. But I want to get to the next thing, Fleming. So I got a couple good stories here with golf since we're on it. You mind if I talk?
Go ahead.
Okay, so on Thanksgiving Sunday with my mom's side of the family, a few of us usually go. Sometimes it's all of us, but go golfing. Just 9 holes. Some of them aren't golfers. My wife's not really a golfer, golfs once or twice a year. Anyway, so we're on hole number 5 or 6. I can't remember. And we're doing okay. We end up losing, but my day was so we're playing best ball or scramble. We go to pick up my wife's ball. So I grab the ball, but we're in kind of like a wet area,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you got to put the carts that way, right? You got to go to the right. Take the carts that way because you can't just drive to the green.
Yeah.
So what she do? And my wife's not a very good driver. She has her G1, and we can't practice because whenever we're together, we have Brady, and you can't have it. Anyways, can't have it in the car. So she loves when she's on the golf course, though, because she can drive. And so what she do, she hammers the gas. Of course, she's driving. Hammers the gas and spins the wheel. Well, we took off, and we did like a spin-o. I don't even know if it was a spin-o. All of a sudden, it was like, if anybody ever gone tubing, you're behind a seat or a boat, you're tubing, and you fall over the tube, and there's like 1 or 2 seconds where you're in the air, and you're like, I'm fucked, you're just like, oh, I'm dead. That's what it's like. Literally, both of us just went, woo, right out the cart. Right out the cart.
Did she go out too?
I couldn't grab it or nothing. She was driving.
Did she fall too?
Oh, yeah, we went on her side. She turned that way.
I didn't know she fell too. That's hilarious.
I just went bam right on the shoulder. I just laid there like I was dead. Oh, there goes my light. Anyway,
call Ben from BIHC. Broken needs his back adjusted.
Oh man, I was sore after. Let me tell you. So he's laughing. We're in water. Thank God it was actually kind of wet there, damp, so that it was a little bit softer ground. But I was like, "What are you doing?" And I said to her though, "Thank God I didn't know it was coming because I would have held on.
Yeah,
and we probably would have flipped the cart."
Yeah.
When you hold on or something.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that was it. But then 2 holes later, I ended up getting an eagle on a par 5. I was about 230 yards out, give or take, on my second shot, and I put it about the width of the computer. I swear to God. I'm not a golfer. Like I golf, 5, 6, half a dozen times a year. So when you make a shot like that, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't know until we got up there. It's only like, foot and a half max away. Sunk the pot, eagle, baby. But like she's saying, well, that's good. I warmed up your shoulder for that shot. And I'm like, yeah, through that again. But anyways, that was my Sunday. We had a great dinner after, but I had to talk about flipping out of the cart and then eagling it, buddy.
It's a great story because I saw your pictures you put on Facebook Sunday, and I saw you wearing the exact same clothes that you're wearing right now that you wore Saturday too. I was gonna comment it on Facebook, so I was like, no, I'll just let him have his little eagle. When you come on the show, it's Tuesday. Have you been wearing those clothes for 4 days in a row now?
Oh, you know what I did today? I actually sealed in this sweater too. But you know what I forgot to tell you?
What?
I ordered 3 of these shirts for me and only 1 for you.
the three X's for you.
Don't worry, but you got the bill. You got the bill. Yeah, remember when I did that? Yeah. I actually ordered none for me, and then what a mess. But I actually just took out the laundry, but it still smells all right. I've worn worse, let me tell you. Yeah. Anyways, where are we at? What do you want to get into? You want to get into our predictions, Leafs, Sens,
let's start with
Senators?
Let's start with Leafs Senators here because that's what the people are here to see, right, buddy? So let's start with the Leafs here. So
the Blue Club, the Battle of Ontario
Hockey Podcast here. So big news out of Leafland. Austin Matthews is projected to be out at least next week or so. So they've said he's going to miss the first 3 games of the season, just recover from that wrist injury. So that's a big loss for the Leafs, and it's definitely not something you want to see, right? I mean, when if Matthews isn't ready to go start the year, that's the biggest part of their team. They have enough depth at center with Tavares, so they can hold up down the middle. But you never want to start the year like that, and it's something you don't want to rush him back from, right? Because you need Austin Matthews to be healthy all year long. So we need Austin Matthews to get back healthy. That's the first and main thing I see from the Leafs. And secondly, how's the goaltending tandem going to shape up here? It sounds like Campbell's going game 1, and then Thursday we're going to go Mrazek against Ottawa, which should you get the backup in against the lesser teams. So yeah, Leafs Ottawa Thursday night. Leafs going with the backup. Should be a win though nonetheless. But just excited to see the Leafs here. So they're coming out playing Montreal tomorrow. Nick Suzuki signs with Montreal a big 8-year, $7.85 million contract. So nice to see Montreal stepping up and signing their good players. I don't know what Ottawa's doing, but is someone missing from Ottawa's camp? I don't know.
I mean, we've already had this conversation, and I think we both feel the same way that we don't know if it's true that Brady Tkachuk has been offered 8 times 8, that that's on Brady. To me, that's bullshit. You've already agreed to, so you know what? But if Eugene is not offering that, and that's bullshit, and he's offering 7 or whatever, then that's on him. So you never know what the truth is. The Anthony Duclair thing, they said that they offered him $4 million, and then it come out it was like 1.75. So I don't know what to believe. Everybody's quiet, but we'll talk about the Sens in a minute. The Leafs. Matthews out. He is skating a full blown though, so I don't expect this to be much. I think this is just precautionary.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting though, because I think you and I are kind of both on the same page, and we don't really have high expectations for Montreal. Yet they're playing Toronto in the first game, and yet they beat Toronto last year in the playoffs. So I think it'll be a good game. And Matthews is out, and you never know. Then again, Montreal's missing Weber and Price. I think, are they not?
Yeah. Doesn't seem to matter. Whenever these two teams play opening night, it's always an overtime or a shootout game. Like, look for a 4-3 game. It's just kind of the way these games shape out. It seems like every year I always remember watching them. It's always 4-3, 5-4, 3-2, goes into overtime. Something happens. Like last year, I think the Leafs won 3-2 last year, and I think Riley scored in overtime. At least had a big comeback late. But it's just one of those things. Opening night, both teams are going to be going full blown. So yeah, I'd expect an overtime or a shootout win for the Leafs tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, I think your prediction's right on. I mean, there's always nerves to start the year, right? And there's always going to be the odd mistake. And, same with goaltending. I mean, if Price isn't in, and then, who knows? I mean, Toronto's goaltending it's not in stone, right? So we don't know what to expect this year. So I like that prediction, a 3-2, 4-3 win. Either way, I think I would probably lean towards Toronto's way, just because I kind of betting against Montreal this year, which we'll get into when we do our predictions. But when you have Price and Weber out, I think that's huge. And I think Toronto's going to be hungry. They have to be. They just lost to this team when they were supposed to dominate them, and they were up 3-1. So, I think it'll be interesting to see. And then the next night, back-to-back for Toronto, which is nice. And they play Ottawa. So
always seems to happen, eh? You always get back-to-back with Ottawa, the second game of the year.
Oh, listen to you. Well, I'm in for a bet. We don't even have our captain. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to get into that, or you want to stay on Toronto, or what. But
why would you give Brady Tkachuk the seat? Like, if Brady's not at camp, that's not captain material to me. I don't see how Brady comes back and gets the C anymore. Like, not this year. I don't think this year is the time for him to get the C. Like, even if he comes back, I would hold off on it. Like, it's not a good look to the team. I mean, a guy doesn't show up to camp. He's not going to be in game shape. He's not going to be ready to lead or play. He's a young kid. I think you're just if he's the captain and you sign him, you bring him back, I think it's too much pressure on him. I think, the signs are there for him to have a slow start or even a bad year, right? Look, say what you will. Camps are important for guys to get in shape. Like these guys can work out all they want. There's only one way to get in NHL hockey shape, and that's playing NHL games against NHL level athletes. So he's not here. He's not ready to go. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think the C's coming to him this year. At least I wouldn't be putting it on him.
I agree with you actually 100% on that. Mm-hmm. I think, it's such a team game, and, not even given that he's young still. But here's the other thing to go with it is like, it all depends. Okay, he comes back. Well, it all depends what contract he's on. If he signs an 8x8 or whatever it is, and he signs a long-term contract and he comes back, maybe you don't give it to him right away. Maybe you make him earn it. Maybe come December, you give it to him. Maybe. Okay. I could see that. Let him kind of earn it a bit. Maybe it's next year. I don't know. But if he signs a 2 or 3 year deal, do you give him the captaincy? Here's the tough part is if he signs a 2 or 3 year deal, you already know come the next when that's up, he's in RFA still, you're going to be going through this, if not even harder again. Right. And you cannot only blame this. I don't care what you're saying. This cannot only be blamed on Eugene Melnyk. It can't. Whether it's more his fault than Tkachuk's, I don't care. Matthew did the same thing, and so did Keith when he was playing. So right away, this is not a one-sided thing. Having said that, if he signs a 2 or 3 year deal, now, no matter what anybody thinks, that trade option is there.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be. It has to be. So now what? You've got your captain for 2 or 3 years. There's only 22. What is he, 22 years old, maybe? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't do that. So that's why they want to sign the long term. The other thing is if you give it to him and then trade him, then obviously the C's gone, you hand it to Shabbat and go, here, you're the runner up.
Yeah. Like, no, it's not the time for it.
It's such a clusterfuck. And I just heard or seen on TSN or Sportsnet, I think it's Sportsnet, and somebody said that Ottawa is announcing their leadership group, not a captain, but their leadership group on Thursday. So now here's the other thing is, should Brady be involved in that?
If Brady's not signed, no, there's no way Brady's involved in it. Like, if he's not going to be, like, I take it if he's not signed, he's not going to be in attendance at the game. Like, it's not like he's going to be there watching. So if he's not there, hell no, he doesn't get, like, you may plan to give him an A when he comes back, but no, he's not a part of the ceremony. He doesn't get an A or a C, and you move on. Like, you figure it out. You give out 3 or 4 A's, or, I'm sure they're going to give out 3 A's and alternate one or, a couple of them throughout the year through guys, right? So Shabbat's probably lined up for an A. I don't know who else is going to get one there, but I think I think they got lots of options and lots of young kids, but it's not the message to send the team. I mean,
I agree.
That's you got so many young kids too.
Yeah. As a coaching perspective, now you just let all these other guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think they got to be a little stern here because, they could get themselves in Toronto trouble really quick because you got to remember, you got Stützle, Pinto, Norris. They're all 3 guys who are going to be top 3 forwards coming up. And let's not forget about Sanderson. He's a guy that, in 2 to 3 years, they're going to want to look to sign because he's supposed to be one of their big future defensemen. That's 4 guys that are probably going to be making at least $5 million a year or more.
I say this all the time, and like I'm not a Senders fan. I will argue with Senders fans to death, though. I don't think Eugene's that cheap, man. Like, Eugene's proven time and time again, he'll spend money. Like, man, he signed Colin White to like a $16 million deal. He didn't need to step up for Shabbat and pay Shabbat $8 million when he did. He could have easily gave Shabbat a 2 or 3 year deal at $4 or $5 million. But you know what? I think like the perception of like his reputation, the city has kind of forced his hand to give out more bigger deals. He is not cheap when it comes to players. Like, he's brought in so many guys over the year that cost real money. Look at Dion Phaneuf, Bobby Ryan, guys with huge cap hits making real money.
Last year was making like $5 million.
He's brought them in. Like, this guy's not afraid to spend money. Like, sure, Ottawa fans may not like him for whatever reasons. I'm sure they had the reasons, but when it comes to the team, he's willing to spend money on players, and that's all you can ask for. So I'm sure the money's there for Brady. If he's spending this much money on Shabbat, on White, on Dandonoffs of the world, the money's there for Brady. Brady's just not taking it. And I don't think it's a Eugene problem. So whenever Brady feels like walking back into that room, I don't think the C's there for him this year.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see. I really do agree with you, and I think as a coaching perspective, it's like if you're DJ, you're thinking like you ain't fucking here, bud. Like, sorry, but you know what? You ain't here. You ain't putting the team first. You're 22 years old, and you're after, if that's what he's offered, $64 million. You can sit there and say this is part of the game, this is part of negotiations. Yeah, but you ain't here. If you want to be here, you're here.
That's American money too.
What?
That's American money too. So like that's like he's staying in Ottawa. That's like $85-90 million. Like, that's $90 million Canadian he's got. Like, get to camp, kid. Like, I don't know who you're getting your advice from, but I don't like it. Like, it's the same thing with the knee. It's the same thing with it's the same thing with the Nylander deal. Like, Nylander held out, his father held out, and it just kind of those things kind of linger in the family. Like,
how did he do that year? He was shit.
He was dog shit, and you know what? It probably soured half the fan base on him because he comes back and people think, oh, big things are coming. Guess what? He wasn't in shape because he wasn't at camp. So Nylander missed a lot of time though. Like, I think he missed like 3 or 4 months.
December 1st, I think.
He came in the last day you possibly could. But it doesn't matter. Like, if Brady signs tonight and he's going to dress game 1, I don't know how Brady's any more than like a third or fourth liner. Like, he's not going to be able to play 20 minutes. Like, he doesn't have the legs for it.
They already said, DJ said that when Brady's signed and he's here, it's about a 7 to 10 day window by the time he plays.
For sure. Yeah. It just has to be. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even if you're skating, you're still not in lines. You're still not with your guys.
Yeah.
There's just so many little things going on. I think you could do it in a week. I think that can happen. But I don't think it should be done in a day or two. Especially starting the season. I mean, you can get injured. There's a lot of different things that play with it, right? So, and not only that, all these other guys have earned their fucking spot.
Yeah.
Formanton's one have been one, and I love Formanton. And I've said this before, and I actually have one of his Belgian jerseys, but he's earned it. He was Ottawa's top scorer in preseason. So now guess where he's playing? Brady's spot.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? He's been at camp. He's earned it. He's done everything he can. And he doesn't play the power play.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still their top scorer. He plays penalty kill. So you know what? Why should he go now to the fourth line or whatever? He was there. You should have to earn that back.
For sure. Yeah. If you're not there, you got to earn it back.
That's where you get a competitive edge inside of a team. You need to have that. You need to have guys fighting each other for spots. That's why it might be good this year in Toronto with the goaltending. I don't know. We'll see. But that's why I like that. Where guys, that's how you get better, when you have to prove yourself every friggin' night in practice. If it's already given to you, you're not going to get any better because you already think you're good enough, which isn't the truth. You can always get better, right? So
we'll move on from this here. But that's a great point, though. Like, that's how teams, iron sharpens iron, right? So when teams have that internal competition, like if you've got a guy in the minors that's putting up 30 goals in the minors and you're sitting there as a third or fourth line center and he's centering, just say the Marlies, you're thinking, shit, man, this kid's going to be on my ass. Like, I better not take a practice off. I better not miss out on that check because there's someone that wants my job and is very capable of taking it. So, when you are in a team dynamic, like you do need to work you need to work your teams, but you need to be able to push people as well. And that's why it's so important, especially in the cap era, to have a pipeline of prospects built up to push the older guys to keep going, because complacency is a real thing. Like, if you've been the second line left winger for the last 5 years, you think that spot's going to be given to you for the next 5 years, right? Well, that's not the case. There are guys that want that spot and you need to earn it. So if you don't show up to camp, if you're not working hard in practice, that spot could be up for grabs at any given time, So I think that's just the nature of professional sports, and that's what keeps guys honest. It keeps them working. So I think that's a very fair point. You need to earn your ice time. And if it's given to you, that's when problems arise within yourself and the team. But let's move on here, Brokey. I just want to touch on the Suzuki deal quick. Did you like it? 8 years, 7.85 a year for Nick Suzuki in Montreal. What do you think?
It's tough because I thought he did really well last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a small sample size for somebody to make that much more money.
Yeah.
I feel like Brady, just comparing them because the numbers are pretty close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has earned it more than he has.
Mm-hmm.
Now, saying that,
center's a premium too. Center's a premium.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. But I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm just saying it's still only a small sample size. But in today's game, sometimes you got to get ahead and sign these guys ahead of time.
Yeah.
To get that. Maybe if they don't sign them until summer, right? Because it's for the year after, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
They did the same thing with Shabbat. Maybe he's worth 9 then. Who knows? Yep. It's a gamble. But if this is my guy, this is who we want to go with, this is who we want to develop, and we're confident in him, why not sign him? So no, I don't hate it at all.
I don't hate it. I think Suzuki's a good little player too. I'd rather have Suzuki at 7.85 than I think Mika Zibanejad just signed for like 8.5 a year. I'd rather Suzuki.
He's such a streaky guy, man.
I know.
He knows he doesn't score for 10 games, he scores 10 goals in 2 games. Like,
I know.
What a guy. Remember last year? His stats were brutal, and then he scored literally like 12 goals in 3 games or something.
Yeah, he got a hat trick.
5-1 game or something stupid.
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
He got 5-1 game. Yeah.
Mm. That was just insane. Yeah. And then played the team again and scored a hat trick or something. It was Philly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyways, but
it was Philly. Yeah.
He's older. That's tough, right? Like they're paying him, but that's New York too. But no, I don't. You know what? You're talking your top center for under $8 million. I mean, realistically, you got him locked in long term.
Yeah.
It's not a bad deal at all. We'll see if it pans out, and hopefully he's the guy. If he's the guy going forward and he's the guy pulling this team, it's an awesome contract. If he's not,
for sure.
He drops the second or third line, then it's not. That's the difference, right? So
yeah.
So you want to do it? This is your guy. Go ahead and get it done. Because if you don't, you could be sitting where Ottawa is with Brady Tkachuk.
Well, and it's like the Marner situation. Like the Leafs could have signed Marner if they would have took Marner a year early. They could have got Marner for $7 or $8 million a year. They didn't. Yeah. He had an awesome year. Now he's out there making 11, right? So it is the gamble. It just you got to get ahead of it sometimes. And I think that's what they're trying to do is they don't want to pay him $9 next year is the problem, right? So
I think it's a good play.
Yeah. A few more minor things before we get into our predictions here, because I know we want to do the prediction show.
I just want to talk about one other signing, if we could.
Go ahead.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Barkov signed in Florida. Did you see that one?
I did see that one. Yeah, I'll go try to pull it up.
And it's all bonuses, though, is it not? Can you pull that up?
It's a huge deal. Yeah,
it's a huge deal. I want to say it's like $9 million a year, maybe. But I'm pretty sure like most of it's all bonuses, which I think means it's guaranteed money and it's paid up front. I could be wrong on that though.
Well, yeah, I think that the wording in the CBA is you can't pay more than like half the deal out of bonuses per year, and the contract can't be worth more than 50% less than the year before, right? So,
okay,
it's a $10 million. It's a $10 million deal for sure. So, like $10 million per year, I think.
Yeah. No, I knew that. I knew that's what you meant. Yeah. So there's another guy that is a phenomenal player, and
he's so good, man. Oh my God, he's so underrated.
And he's kind of underrated because he plays for Florida, and you don't hear much of him. But here's the thing: is like a guy like Ottawa went and got Dadonov, for instance, 2 years or a year ago, whatever it was, because he played with him. He had good numbers. Once he left him, he didn't have good numbers, and that just shows that he's that type of player. Like a Crosby, put Kunitz with him, right? Kunitz lights it up. Kunitz gets a lot of points. Kunitz goes and plays with somebody else. He ain't getting 80, 90 points, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes, and that's how good these guys are. So you know what? Florida's an underrated team. They got one of the best, if not the best, coach in the game. Coach Q is phenomenal. He's won everything, and they've got a young team there. They got lots of talent, and they lost out to Tampa Bay last year, did they not? But were they not a favorite?
Yeah.
I think they might have been a favorite.
They were the 2 seed. Tampa was the 3 seed. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think they're going to be good for the few years to come.
And Ekblad's back. That's the biggest thing for them is Aaron Ekblad. He had a broken leg. Yeah, he had a broken leg. He's back. So
phenomenal defenseman back there. So their team. So I like that contract too. I mean, they signed their guy that this is their man. Again, we want him. Let's lock him in. I mean, you don't have a choice. If you don't sign these guys and lock them in, then you know what? You don't have them.
Yeah.
So
just a couple more things before we get into our predictions here, because I know that's what we wanted to focus on the episode. Adam Brooks was claimed by Montreal off waivers from the Leafs, so the Leafs lose Brooks to waivers. I thought Brooks was a good little fourth line center. I'm not gonna, you're not gonna cry about it. We'll probably see him tomorrow night. Another deal I just want to touch on is Brian Boyle. They picked up his option for the professional tryout in Pittsburgh. So Brian Boyle sticking in the league. Just great to see a guy that came back from cancer, right? So he had cancer, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4. But I think that's a great pickup for Pittsburgh. If Pittsburgh needs size down the middle, like they need. Boyle's not a tough guy or anything, but you need a little size to protect Crosby and Malkin. I think Malkin's out to start the year, but that's a good pickup, and nice to see Boyle still in the league too.
Oh, and you know who's helping getting him and who would love him is Berkey.
Yeah,
Berkey
for sure.
Love a guy like that. He's sitting there in Pittsburgh, and that's his style of guy, bigger guy, right? So, so good on him. You know what? And that guy, like you said, come back from cancer, and he has done some good things, and he is a more type of playoff type performer, grindier, right? So,
one over/under bet I got here for you, Brokey. Okay. The Rangers versus Washington tomorrow night. What's the over/under on fights? 3.5? What do you get?
That's tomorrow night.
What's that? Tomorrow night, yeah.
I don't know. Like, would the over/under be 5? Like, is it going to be that big of a brawl? I don't know.
I think it'd be at least 3.5, man. Like the Rangers went out and just signed pretty much everyone under the sun. They went and got Ryan Reeves. Yeah. They went and got Barclay Goudreau. Like, they are gearing up.
That'll be the game to watch.
Oh yeah. I'm loving that rivalry right now. Like, the Rangers obviously went it with full intent to say pretty much fuck you, Washington, fuck you, Tom Wilson. It's going to be Tom Wilson. You're signed for 5 years. You better be ready to fight every game for the next 5 years. That's pretty much what the Rangers said right there. They pretty much just said, fuck you, Tom Wilson. It's go time, big boy. Let's see what you're made of. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm hoping there's some tilts on the 23rd in Ottawa with the Rangers, because I'm going to that game with Mylene and Brady. So
yeah,
we want to go to a game, and I thought the Rangers would be cool. Like, you got Panarin. Is it Kakko? How you say it? Lafreniere, how you say it? Like, they got one of those. Like, they were doing a rebuild, and then it was like they got those first overall or high picks, right? First and second overalls. And it just and then signing Panarin, it just boosted them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're a team.
They were supposed to be a sleeper team last year.
Yeah, and they could be again this year, right?
Yeah.
You don't know. So we'll get into that with our picks. I did think of something while you were talking, but I forget what it was now. So you want to do our picks?
Yeah, let's jump into our picks. So we want to kind of run through the divisions here. Who we think is going to make the playoffs. So let's start in, I guess, the most familiar division to us here. Let's start with the Atlantic. Do you want the honors here, Brokey, or you want me to take it for the Atlantic here? So I think we're going to pick the top. We'll take the top three that we think the top three.
You do one, I'll do, I'll do one, you do one, I'll do one, okay? So okay. I'll start, and then you can do the next division. Okay. So we can pick 3, 4, or 5 teams in the division because 8 have division.
Yeah.
Right? So where am I here? I don't have my right one up. So I'm not going to do it in any order, but I am going to take 4 teams out of this division. I'd say Leafs, Lightning, Panthers, and Bruins. I think that's pretty steady picks.
I think I stay too. And I actually have the Leafs statted out to be ahead of the Bruins this year. Like I keep for the last 2 or 3 years, I keep predicting that it's the fall of the Bruins, and Bergeron keeps chugging along. Is it finally the year that Bergeron slows down a little bit? Probably not. The guy seems like he's just one of the best players for the last 10 years. But I think Toronto can do enough, just scoring wise, to get ahead of Boston in the standing. I don't think they get ahead of Tampa, but I do think 4 teams out of this division make the playoffs, and I think Florida and Boston are probably are those teams.
Yeah, I think Florida's going to be a lock. I think Florida and Tampa Bay, and I don't think Toronto's going to fall out. I know you talked about it. I think they'd have to get a horrendous streak.
No, once I looked, I think I'm pretty comfortable with Toronto.
I think the season for them is good. Yeah. And for me, how do you not bet on Boston? I mean, it's the Bruins. I mean, they every year they get in the playoffs, they have a chance to win the cup, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So and it's hard because you're trying to get, okay, do I take 3, 4, or 5 from this division? Mm-hmm. Because obviously 8 in the conference, so you got to look at the other conference and go, okay, who am I taking there? Who's good and who's not?
Yeah.
So do you want to move on to the next division?
Yeah, here let's move on to the Metropolitan Division. So I have an interesting take on this division here, Brokey, and for the first seed of the division, I'm going to take the New York Islanders. I absolutely love
their team, man.
I love what Lou Lamoriello's done in the Islanders, and he's just proven he knows how to put a fucking hockey team together and one that clicks. So he's got Barzal. They re-signed Palmieri. They added some veteran depth in the last little while. They got Zdeno Chara back on D and Zach Parise too. So I mean, Lou's went out and he's found guys that are winners, and I think that's a big thing for his group. They may not be the most skilled, but they don't have to play their A game every night to win. If they're not on one night offensively, they can go to that checking line of Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck, and maybe they go and get them 2 goals. They're just such a nicely balanced team. Their defense is so good, and I think Chara is going to be a really big part of that defense, kind of helping usher that next arrow defenseman along. They've got 3 or 4 really good young defensemen who are kind of on that verge, becoming from 15, 20, like the top 15 or 20 defensemen in the league to maybe rush into that top 10. Maybe a guy like Chara pushes someone like Pelech over the top, and gives them that little bit of encouragement, a little bit of mentorship to kind of get them there. So I think the Islanders will win this division here. I think Pittsburgh second. I like Carolina to get third. The only thing I'm worried about with Carolina is their goaltending. I'm going to be honest. I think Freddie's washed. I think Freddie Anderson is it's just not going to be his year. Too many injuries, and I think the Leafs were right to move off him. I mean, he can't stay healthy, and if your legs and your knees and your groin start to go for a goalie, that might be the end of it for him. So I don't think Freddie's going to bounce back. And then the rivalry of the year here, this is going to be the 4th and 5th teams in the division, Washington, the Rangers. Who comes out 4 and who comes out 5? I don't know. Probably whoever gets hurt less in all those brawls they're going to have this year. So I'm not saying Washington's a lock for the playoffs this year. I think Washington might be a team that could be maybe on the outskirts of the playoffs this year. A little bit different, but that's the way I see that playing out.
Just one question. Since Tavares left the Islanders, how many playoff series wins have they had?
I don't know. Do you know?
6? How many Johnny T had? 0.
Oh, such a funny guy. Oh, you're so funny.
Watch them. No, and Barzal is such an underrated guy. We talk about Barkov. Barzal's fucking phenomenal. You watch that guy with the puck, and you're just like, is his string on it? Is there string on a stick? He's so good.
I haven't seen it.
They have such hard work grinders all through the lineup, it seems, too, especially in 3rd and 4th lines that just battle guys every night, and they're in every game. I love it. They're always getting points. They're never giving stuff up. So, and their coaching is phenomenal there. Barry Trotz is one of the best coaches in the game as well. I would probably put him and Coach Q probably 1 and 2 right now in my books for the coaching.
I agree with that. The one thing I just want to point out about Barzal is I've never seen a guy do it quite like him. Is he is on the edges of his skates so well. And like it's almost like he has like a little jump step to cut to the middle. Like he's always on the outside. I've never like if Mitch Marner could get to the middle of the ice like Matt Barzal, he'd fucking score 60 goals a year. Like Barzal just has that knack to get to that dead space and get to where he needs to be on the ice. Like it's amazing to see. Like sometimes he'll just jump a guy's stick or just like one little step off the front foot when he's kind of carving at an edge. He's so good at that stuff and just getting to a dangerous spot. And Barzal's one of the funnest guys to watch in the NHL for me. Like I love watching the Islanders game because they play that physical game, but because they got a guy like Barzal too who pushes the pace every single night. Like it's amazing to watch that kid to me.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I love that team. I don't know whether they're going to finish first or what. The other guy I think is Freddie Anderson. I find that really interesting to see what you said because obviously you've given up on him. You're a Leafs fan. I get it. But how many times as a player, and I know it's not always a goalie, but players left Toronto and had way more success, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. It really does. And the number one reason I think is to do with pressure. I really do. I think if you get Freddie Anderson in the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if he's dynamite just because there'd be way less pressure down in Carolina. There just would be. I mean, you know what I mean, though? Like,
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
Carolina. And I know they have big fans and they get into the game and everything, but when you look at the media aspect of it, it's not even close to what is in Canada, let alone Toronto. So I think Carolina's I'm pretty tight with what you got as well.
Well, I think it's going to be a race between 3, 4, and 5 there. Like the Hurricanes watching the Rangers, even Philly when you add them in, like that.
Philly could be in there too, man. They're a sleeper.
I think those 4 teams are going to battle for those 2 spots, and I think that's a division that comes down to probably the last game of the year for me. Those 4 teams will be packed up so tight in there. Those middle 4, it's going to be great.
And again, if they're battling each other and they're getting more 3-point nights, and they get a few more than let's say the Atlantic. Maybe one of those other teams squeaks in.
Yeah.
Because it's tighter. So maybe only 3. I would be surprised, and obviously both of us aren't saying that. But I'm just saying I'd watch for that because I think this one is probably going to be the tightest division out of them all. It's where I'm sitting there going, who's getting in? So anyways, I'm going to finish my picks here. I've got the Islanders, I've got Pittsburgh, and I've got Washington. So that leaves me with Carolina, Rangers, and Philly. I think if Carolina gets in, I think they might be able to do something. I don't know why. But
Carolina lost Dougie Hamilton, right?
Philly's supposed to be good too. If Philadelphia can get goaltending, I think they're a playoff team. The issue is they struggle, and they've struggled since they've had Ron Exel in the 90s. Look, they just can't get. Even when they bring somebody in, they thought this is our savior. Not so.
Philadelphia is just the place where goaltenders go to die. Like that's just kind of the way it is.
He's supposed to be one of the best in the league in the future. You know, he's a young guy still. If he has a great season, he could end up in first place. Philadelphia could be in first place because I think that division is going to be so tight. It's going to be the tightest division. So for me, I'm going to throw Philly in there just to make it interesting. So I've got Philly, Pitt, Washington, and the Islanders. Those are my 4. It's tight, though. That's really, really tight.
I would say this is more likely to have 5 teams in the playoffs in the Atlantic. Like I would say if 5 teams make it from the Metro, probably 3 from the Atlantic, I would think.
You never know, though. But, the 5th team in the Atlantic could be Ottawa Senators speaking in there if we get some goaltending.
Yeah.
Hey, if he's tell him to finish the year last year, you never know. But we need Brady Tkachuk. Anyways, is it my goal, the Central Division?
Let's go to the Central, yeah.
So the Central, for me, this is a 5-banger. It's simple. The Pacific is by far the worst division. But we'll get to that last. So I got to pick 5 teams here. No. So obviously, I think Colorado is going to win the division. I think they're one of the favorites, top 3 favorites for the Stanley Cup this year. So for me, they're winning the division. I'm going to have the Blues up there with the Jets. The other team I'm really, really, really interested to see, and I think they can make a comeback, is the Chicago Blackhawks. I love that they got Fleury. We already know what that guy does. He gets thrown to the curb by every team, and then he goes. He won the Vezina last year. The guy's phenomenal. If he gets hot, he could be the best goalie in the league again. They've got Seth Jones. They got his brother. What's his name? They got Jonathan Taves back. I mean, and there was another forward they picked up. Who did they pick up? Let me help me out here.
I'm not sure, buddy.
There was another guy they picked up. They got DeBrincat. They got Kane. I mean, Patrick Kane is still one of the best, if not best hands in the league. He could go and be close, top 3, top 4, top 5 in scoring again this year. So I think Chicago bounces back and makes the playoffs. And you never know. They get in the playoffs and they got a hot goalie like Flower. They can go on a run. So I think this is their bounce back year. What did I say? Chicago, Colorado, St. Louis, and Winnipeg are my teams. And my fifth team, who did I have, Fleming?
Minnesota, Dallas, Nashville.
Yeah, I know. I think my fifth team is Nashville.
Nashville.
I think they're going to have a little bit of a bounce back team or bounce back year. We got one Belleville guy, I guess, on them now. Nick Cousins is still there, right? So we'll take it for him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to be pretty similar in that division. I think the Avalanche are an easy first place. I actually have Winnipeg coming out second in that division. I like Winnipeg so much just with their depth down the middle. I said it last year a whole bunch too, but when you got Scheifele, you got Dubois, and Stastny is down the middle as well. That's a top three center that any team in the league should fear going up against those three down the middle. So I would take the Jets second. And then I do have Chicago in. So I think my 3, 4, 5 would be Dallas, Minnesota, and Chicago. And I think Nashville would be on the outside looking in for me.
Okay. So you didn't take St. Louis.
No, I think St. Louis is going to finish down there. Yeah, with the Coyotes.
But again, this is another tough division. I think, this is between this one and the Metropolitan, I think, are the two tightest divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving on to the Pacific, to me, this is by far the weakest division. I think, honestly, there's one team in here that I really like.
And honestly, I don't even really like Vegas that much because they lost Flower. Like, you lost your number one goalie. You can't be 100%. Then, like, Leonard's a head case, man. Like,
Twitter King goes off sideways, which I don't mean that in a negative way. Like, he's had problems. I just mean if he doesn't play well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's putting a lot of confidence into Robin Leonard, man. That's putting a lot of faith in him.
Again, maybe he says, screw you guys. I'm not going sideways. I'm going straight, and I'm going straight to Stanley Cup. I can see it because, they have a really good team. They've had success the last few years. I think they have a chance again. I think for them, to me, they're locked to win this division. I just don't know who else. I mean, unless McDavid gets hot, but Oilers are just not a good team. They got good players, but they're not a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that changes, I don't see anybody else. Who else is? I mean,
does Hyman make a difference there?
I think he does make a difference,
mm-hmm.
but that's one player.
Yeah,
and defensively, they're still weak.
Yeah.
And that's one line. He's probably going to play with the big guys. Where they struggled with is their third and fourth lines not contributing, right? They got the top two scorers. And so Hyman's not going to play on those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So is he going to help? He will. I'm just talking as the whole team thing, right?
Yeah.
But again, I can see them. And I think you're up anyways, but I'll just talk about weak teams like the Ducks are in a rebuild. The Kings are in a rebuild. The Sharks are just, who knows what they're doing. We thought they were going to be phenomenal when they got Carlson, and they've been everything but. The Canucks were horrendous at the end of last year, and the Kraken are a brand new team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's 5 teams in there. I'm like, I don't think you have a chance, but maybe they do.
I don't think Calgary's that good of a team either. Like,
I don't think they are either. I really don't.
Calgary's no pretty team. So
they struggled last year, especially down the end. Even with getting what's his face back behind the bench, he had like sub 500 numbers. I'm pretty sure were right around there. He didn't do that well. So,
who do you think finishes higher, Vancouver or Calgary?
Who finishes higher, Vancouver or Calgary?
In the standings, yeah. Who has more points, Vancouver or Calgary?
The only one player that I really like on Vancouver, well, there's Pettersson and stuff, but is Demko.
That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
Shot is phenomenal. So he won them games just against Ottawa. They outshot him 3-1, and they lost 5-2 twice. It's like, so he's a guy that maybe could steal them games. Calgary didn't have it last year.
I was going to try to pitch to you. I was going to say, I bet you Vancouver finishes higher than Calgary in the standings this year. That's what I was going to try to sell. I was going to try to tell you that Vancouver finishes higher than Calgary in the standings. That's the bet I was going to try to make you, but I don't know if you'd bite on it.
Okay, let's bet $20 on it. I'm in for 20.
Okay, so you get Calgary, I get Vancouver.
Let's bite on it. I'll bite on it right now.
There you go, deal. There you go. You got Calgary. Yep. Johnny Gaudreau, there you go, your boy.
Okay. Just $20?
Yep, we'll take 20 on that one.
Just $20?
Yeah, just 20. I'm not that confident in it.
So, did you pick teams in this division though? Because I don't think you've done it.
So, my picks is I would take 3 teams to make it this division. I would say Vegas, Edmonton, and my final 2 would be Vancouver or LA. And I think I would lean Vancouver in this instance. I don't know why. I just think Vancouver can do enough to find a way to squeak past LA. I don't think Calgary is a good enough team to make it. I don't like the Sharks. I don't like Seattle. The Ducks, I don't think make it. So I'm going to put my money on Vancouver to squeak into the playoffs as a 3 seed in that one.
It's such a shitty division. I'm going to say it's Calgary. I got the same two. I've got the Knights and the Oilers. I think they're 1-2. I think I'd be shocked if they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take Calgary. That was who I was going to take anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that bet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Perfect. We'll take it. So that's it. So that's our breakdown. It sounds like we're a little bit on the same page here. Yeah, the East is going to be a
we've got some different picks.
Yeah.
I think we've got, 1, 2, 3, at least 4 different picks out of 16. That isn't bad considering there's a lot of favorites in there, right? So
yeah, for sure. So who finishes last in the Atlantic? Is it Ottawa or is it Detroit? Or is it Montreal? Did you hear me?
Last, it's Buffalo without a doubt.
Oh, Buffalo's in there too. Yeah, shit, I forgot about them.
Buffalo ain't beating anybody. You
know what's funny is I wrote down a list. I didn't even put Buffalo on my list because they're so far behind.
Yeah, they're in the AHL right now playing Belleville.
Yeah. And Belleville's the favorite by 2 goals.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, there's our picks. One other thing we want to talk about is the Belleville Senators. They started their preseason recently, and now you can actually get single game tickets. And I believe they have been approved. Help me out on this one to go full capacity.
Full capacity, yeah.
Yes. So guys, get out to the games. I know I'm excited to get out to them. I actually know they play Saturday night, and we have a hockey tournament, a rec tournament. So if you're looking to get into it, get a hold of us. There might be a spot available for your team. But we have players that are interested in going. They're wondering if their games are going to be done and whatnot. So it's good to hear that. Like, hey, we want to get out to the Sens game. So I love hearing that because it's our local team, whether you're a Leafs fan or not. Get out to the games. You'll see us. I know you're going to see me. I know I can't make all of them, but I'm going to try and make as many as I can when I'm in Belleville. No, get out, support the Belleville Senators. They're going to be starting soon in regular season, and we're going to hopefully have some of their players on. They have had a little bit of shuffle on players like all AHL teams do. They're always getting new players, new developed players coming up. But there is some guys to watch out for. Lassie Thompson, I think, is the guy that I want to watch out for in a Belleville Senators uniform. He's a defenseman. He's supposed to be their star player this year, star defenseman, offensive defenseman. So he's one guy to watch out for. So get to the games, check these guys out. Even if you're not maybe a Senators fan, cheer for Belleville, or go out and watch them. If you're a Montreal fan, watch them play Laval.
Yeah, for sure. So you can get those tickets on Ticketmaster.ca. So the CAA Center, let's pack that place this year and cheer on the Senators. Like we've said lots of times, this is our team, guys. You know, whether if you're still a little bitter about the Bulls or whatever, this is the team you got now, and it's an upgrade to me. You got a team in the second best league in the world. So get out and support the Belleville Senators. And who knows, maybe Brady Tkachuk will be down for a little conditioning stint in 2 or 3 months when he finally signs that deal, eh? How happy would you be if Brady was in Belleville?
I'd love it just because I would want to go watch. But there's not a chance they bring a guy like him there. He's never played a game in Belleville. And I don't mean that as a negative to Belleville. It's just I don't see it. And the reason is his style of game, too. If he goes and plays in Belleville, what's going to happen? They're all going to want to fight him. They're all going to want to cross-check him. They're all going to want to prove something to him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And that's where guys struggle, and that's why they don't bring high-end talent down a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Stützle, he'll never play a game in Belleville, I don't think, unless he just collapses. It could because honestly, part of it is the injury, and it's because guys in the other teams see them as a target, and it's too bad. But having said that, guys, that doesn't mean nobody goes from Belleville to anything. 90% of them do. 90% of them. We're talking about the highest end. Shabbat, one of the best defensemen in the game. He played the second most minutes in the whole NHL last year. He played in Belleville. Right, so you're talking about high end. Batherson, he's on Ottawa's top line. He played in Belleville. Norris, he's on Ottawa's top line.
We get it.
He won the rookie of the year 2 years ago. Huh?
We get it, Brokey. You like the Senators here.
I'm just talking about Belleville. Shut up.
Everyone comes through. Here. Brady will be down. Brady will be there.
All right, get out, check out your Belleville Senators, and check out Pay It Forward Sports for more tournaments. We have a rec hockey 3-on-3 tournament at World Elite this weekend, and we also have a competitive 3-on-3 tournament at World Elite on November the 6th and 7th. Get out, get a hold of us, get teams in these. They're going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, so the world's going back to normal, guys. We're getting back past COVID here. So get out, get together with your friends. It's time to start having some fun. I think that was the best thing about the golf tournament this weekend is just seeing guys together, having fun. Guys and girls. There were some girls' events too. So it's just fun to see everyone getting together, laughing, kind of going back to the way life used to be, right? It was I haven't had that much fun in so long, man. I thought that was just the best time Saturday. So again, thanks to everyone who participated and to Trillium Woods and to all our sponsors. And I'm sure we will be or have been plugging those sponsors on all our podcasts, including this one and the NFL podcast, which will air Thursday as well.
Fleming, one thing we didn't talk about this, and I just thought we have to bring it up. I gave you $100 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
That 100's sitting at 400 now, buddy. I've been doubling down every week. So week one, I took.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I got $400.
Yeah. Well, no, I get 10%. I get 10% of that. But
2%.
10.
All right, do I actually have $400 sitting there?
Talk to me offline. We'll talk about
I
it. I might have.
Okay, so what's the bet this week? What's your bet this week? Are you gonna wait?
We haven't. I haven't done the podcast yet, so I can't give it away. I haven't really looked this week. We're only Tuesday. We're Tuesday, so I haven't looked too thoroughly at the match. I haven't looked too thoroughly at the matchups yet here, Brokey. So maybe I'll drop that tomorrow, and maybe I'll clip that out when we do the football episode, and I'll put that up for you online, so you know where your $400 is going down on this week. I'd say okay, I'll probably put on like the New York Jets or something.
Where can people find out about this bet and other bets?
Yeah, so you can check us out, Boot Club Sports on YouTube or on Spotify and all major streaming platforms. So the NFL show airs every Thursday. So we try to get on for the Thursday night game. And if you guys are looking to make some money, this is the show that makes you money. The NFL Boot Club Sports NFL analyst Chris Garrison, I think he had another 4 for 4 week. So he is 19 for 20 on his bets that he's put on the show this year. So we are raking in money, and I think I'm 17 for 20 on the year as well. JM's about 2 for 18, but that's okay. That's why JM hosts the show. And,
so is this the reason what we do? We hear JM's bets and then bet against them.
Yeah, we let JM go first, and then we all hammer the opposite. So
we need to try JM with hockey. We'll get JM on the hockey podcast. Who do you want to take, JM, and just bet the opposites?
Yeah. I think he'd be the chump at the end of the week.
Chump. Yeah, we'll have to do champ or chump soon. We'll get into that maybe in one of the next episodes of the Battle on Ontario Hockey Podcast. Check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. It'll air Thursday before
Thursday night football, buddy.
Before kickoff is the word I was looking for.
That's
and
right.
Apparently I've got $400, so I might have $800 by the end of the week.
Attaboy, Brokey, attaboy. So one more question for you, Brokey. Are you in?
The Boo Club.